Arfield can be the driving force in Rangers' title bid, claims Lee Clark. When Scott Arfield left Burnley for Rangers last summer, he did so in the knowledge that the last highly rated midfielder to make the journey from Turf Moor to Ibrox ended up beating a hasty retreat. Joey Barton may have fallen far short in his Old Firm battle with Scott Brown, but those who know Arfield best were never in doubt he would prove to be a smash hit in Glasgow. In 2010, Lee Clark shelled out £400,000 to take the then up-and-coming young talent from Falkirk to Huddersfield. Arfield duly repaid that faith, proving a pivotal part of a team that set a new Football League record of 43 games unbeaten, beating the previous record set by Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest in 1979. And after watching his former protege then mature into a proven Premier League performer with Burnley, the former Kilmarnock boss knew the 30-year-old would be in his element in the Old Firm cauldron. Last Saturday, Clark was an avid viewer as Arfield ruthlessly went head-to-head with Brown as they contested an eye-watering drop-ball situation that later went viral online. Overall in the midfield battleground, Arfield proved one of the standout players in a blue jersey, as Brown and Co were emphatically overrun in the 1-0 victory for the Ibrox club. And should Rangers now go on to mount a real title challenge in 2019, Clark expects all-action Arfield to be at the beating heart of it all. "I watched the Old Firm game at the weekend and Scott Arfield was just unbelievable," Clark told Sportsmail. "But when I saw that Rangers had landed Scott last summer, I always knew he would be a great signing. His fitness levels have always been exceptional, one of the best I have ever encountered in my career. The amount of ground he covers is great. He has clearly matured over the years and he has become a lot more confident in his ability. He is having a huge effect on games for Rangers and, for me, he was one of the main men when Rangers beat Celtic at the weekend. Listen, Scott Brown has been there, seen it and done it over the years in his career. Don't underestimate what a player Scott Brown still is. I saw that at close quarters when I came up to Scotland as the manager of Kilmarnock. But Steven Gerrard has come into Rangers and he's doing a brilliant job, bringing in key players like Scott Arfield. Scott has helped give the Rangers team impetus, energy and quality. It was a fully deserved victory for Rangers on Saturday with Scott playing a central part in that. Can Rangers now mount a title challenge? Listen, they are neck and neck with Celtic. So why not? And Scott will have a massive role to play in the second half of the season. While many in English football looked the other way, Clark took a keen interest in the Scottish game 8 years ago when Arfield was starring for Falkirk under John Hughes in the Premiership. With the midfielder the driving force of the team, the Barons reached the 2009 Scottish Cup final, losing to Rangers but qualifying for Europe for the first, and only, time in the club's history. Clark recalls being on the trail of two up-and-coming players at that time who would later go on to have fine careers down south, but Arfield topped his list. "I did a lot of my scouting up in Scotland and I ended up taking Scott from Falkirk to Huddersfield," he recalled. "There were two similar players who had caught my eye. One was Scott at Falkirk and the other was the lad Craig Bryson at Kilmarnock, who eventually went to Derby County. The owner at Huddersfield at the time said the funds were there for one but not both, so I had to choose. I plumped for Scott and he turned out to be a terrific signing for Huddersfield. After I had left for Birmingham City, I was surprised that Huddersfield let Scott run down his contract. He then went on trial at Burnley. He was not under contract, so Burnley got a real bargain there. They got a great player and Scott helped them get promoted from the Championship and he kept up his good form in the Premier League, too. With that CV, he was always going to do well with Rangers." Clark remains a fan of Scottish football after his spell in charge at Rugby Park in 2016-17, which ended when he took the Barry job. He believes Scottish football is now in a fine state with traditional big clubs like Rangers, Hearts, Hibs and Aberdeen now strong again after enduring lean years. The phenomenal rise of Killie under Steve Clark to win more points than any other top-flight side in 2018 has come as a pleasant shock. And Clark would jump at the chance of a return to dugout life up here. "I think Scottish football tends to be undervalued a little bit outside of Scotland," he said. "But it's even stronger now with Hibs and Hearts and Rangers all back in the top flight, and people will be hoping Dundee United come back up again this season. Rangers are strong and so are Aberdeen and Hearts. I'm enjoying keeping up with what's happening. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I probably made the wrong decision to leave Kilmarnock. I loved my time there, and when I look back it was a great year. We turned the club round and we moved in the right direction. When I walked in the door, we were bottom with Dundee United, but we managed to keep Kilmarnock in the league by beating Falkirk in the playoffs. When we left we were in the top 6 on goal difference. Nobody could have foreseen what Steve Clarke has done since moving to Rugby Park, but I'm absolutely buzzing when I see Kilmarnock's results on a Saturday. Steve has taken them to a new level, and I'm delighted for guys at the club like Billy Bowie. The people in the background at Rugby Park are great guys who really do have Kilmarnock at heart. I loved my time managing in Scotland, and I wouldn't think twice if an opportunity to work in Scottish football came up again."